Hello there, this is James Cox with the Martial Arts Lifestyle. We are into episode number 10. Today we want to talk about potential. So the Martial Arts Lifestyle is about martial arts ways that you use in life, or ways you use life in martial arts. I guess it could go both ways there, right? We are America's self-protection, personal development, and fitness experts with something for everyone. Potential. So this is having the capacity to become or to develop into something in the future. You know, knowing potential will forecast something that one could more easily be headed toward with future success. When you realize what you do well and you can match it with passion, then that's a good win-win. So things that you can do well, that you really enjoy, you have the passion for, you can develop passion, you can develop potential for that a little bit easier. You know, I know coming up in martial arts, my instructor would often tell me about there's acquired ability and there's natural ability. So what's the difference in acquired ability and natural ability, and how does this kind of tie into potential and martial arts? Well, you know, pretty obvious. Acquired ability is something that you work really hard for. You know, you have to gain it. You know, when I started martial arts, I say that I most likely could have been the least likely voted to succeed in martial arts. I just worked extra hard, you know, first one there, last one to leave concept, and, you know, practice at home as much as I could. And I knew that I loved it. I knew that I needed it. It filled so many gaps and holes in my life, and it gave me something, a positive future and something to do, especially when I started teaching. But I acquired the ability. I didn't know that I had it, and I really was not natural for it. What may have been a little more natural for, but it was hidden potential, is teaching. So, you know, to have potential, and then maybe there you discover or you uncover a hidden potential. And, you know, I was forced to teach in a lot of ways, and my instructor was working a full-time job, and I would walk to the karate school after high school, so I'd be sitting there waiting for him to get off work and come open the karate school. Eventually, you know, I got a key to the building, so I could get there first and kind of get it ready to open up and start practicing and all of that. But there was times then where as I developed, heck, I was probably even like an orange belt, and maybe he had a late call at work. So he called me and said, man, I need you to teach the first part of that beginner class until I get there. And I was like, what, teach? I don't know how to teach. But of course, to him, whatever he said, I said, yes, sir, and I did it. So I had to kind of force myself, and was forced to be able to teach at an early age and an early rank. But that's what uncovered, again, I think, a hidden potential. And I got a lot better at it, but it's because I also fell in love with that. You know, and that's a lot more about the acquired ability. Where natural ability, some people are just natural born, man, at whatever it might be. You know, you can think of a lot of people that you can tell they have potential for that. If somebody's really good with numbers, you would probably say, oh, that guy could be an accountant. You know, somebody's really good with food and cooking, you probably could say they have potential to become a chef. You know, people that are good with tools, well, there's a possible carpenter. You know, my son was always doing gymnastics type stuff and not even really knowing what gymnastics was. Even from a toddler, he was always tumbling and rolling and stretching. And then as soon as we were able to get him into a gymnastics center, then I could tell he already had potential. He worked hard. He had passion for it, and went a long ways with gymnastics and cheerleading. So, you know, potential in martial arts, I see it all the time. I see people that come in and they're just naturally more flexible. So what does that tell me? This person is going to be a good kicker. It was just an easier trait to acquire. Some people come in and they're just really strong. So it kind of tells me they're a little more natural, have the potential for their striking, their power, even their wrestling, you know. So you're going to see the different ways of potential. If you can learn a lot about yourself. So we talk about self-awareness a lot, right? I want to talk real quick about the 4 selves. And this is self-confidence, self-acceptance, self-discipline, and self-awareness. So study and think about the 4 selves to know a little more about you and what you do, and find out what you love. And then if you can do that at the same time, it's definitely a win-win. Again, I found out for me that it was kind of teaching martial arts, but if you would have asked me a year before that, I didn't know. So, you know, maybe there's something in there that you need to do some research on, that I really didn't have a clue. until I kind of found that as my purpose. This month in our classes, we're working our Black Belt Excellence sheet on potential, and we want to talk a little bit about that. So it says a little, I guess you could call it a little poem, a little rhyme here. It says, I am the one who writes my own story. I decide the person I'll be. What goes in the plot and what does not is pretty much up to me. So I'd give you a little homework assignment, something that you guys could work on is on potential is you should write 5 of your greatest talents. Think about yourself. What are some things that you're talented in? Write 5 things of your greatest talents. And then list 5 of your best qualities. What are your top 5 qualities? And then you make a list, number 3, of challenges. What are some things that you would like to become better at? So what are your biggest challenges? And then the thing is to turn the challenge into a blessing. So each of these challenges gives you the opportunity to strengthen your inner self. If you can get an example of how one of your challenges could be an opportunity to develop into a stronger person, then you just kind of keep working on growing yourself with what you have. Last thing that I'll talk about is we call the blame game. And it's our responsibility to use our gifts and talents as well as to improve our weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses, right? So many times individuals don't use their talents to develop their weaknesses because they're too busy blaming others. They blame their parents, they blame their teachers, brothers, sisters, even the weather. To prevent yourself from getting caught up in the blame game, that's what you need to understand, and you need to think about the poem and just remind yourself in the morning that you decide the person that you want to become. Ultimately, it's up to you to become, whatever it is that you choose. That's kind of it, guys. We'll see you soon. Check out the other podcasts. Thanks.